Hey, this is Ashley from Seeking Divine Serendipity, and this is your weekly overview for May 29th through June 4th. So, hold on because I have a lot to share with you. Okay, so let's start with the overarching theme between this week. So, this week we are really going to be focused on where we feel oppressed or we are limited in our choices and moving into a space of empowerment. Now, I said empowerment, like our own power, not force where we are trying to control other people, right? So we have this tendency of getting stuck in this dualistic, this or that type of thinking. And what happens is we consistently rebound between two extremes in this two-dimensional box, right? So where we feel like it's a this or a that, and then neither of those work, and then we get frustrated and we say, oh, well, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. So we are really focused on breaking that mold this week. One of the big things that we need to focus on is where we are, one, giving our choices away, two, not aware of the choices that we have, and then three, where we are tolerating things because it has not gotten to the point of frustration where we are willing to change things. So the big two collective karmic cycles that are coming up this week is a conditioned coping mechanism where we just are ignorant of our choices, right? So this is running at our seventh chakra, our crown, and our power to choose. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean that in a stupid or bad way, like it's gotten the connotations of recently in more modern times. I mean it in a very literal sense. We do not know. We have no idea. It's completely outside of our awareness. So what happens is we get stuck on autopilot and we move through our day making all of these choices in a habitual fashion, and we don't even have awareness of what our choices are or why we're even doing it. How many times have you found yourself like walking into the kitchen and then you're looking around like, what was I doing in here? So that is one of the big things that we're going to be focusing on this week specifically, is looking at our choices and then asking ourselves, do you really want to do that? Are you sure? We also need to really address all of the areas where we feel stressed, right? We will never feel stressed if we are following our soul's guidance, right? And what I mean by this is our emotions are an inner compass, and you might have heard me say this like a billion times before because it's something that I say all the time. Our emotions and our inner compass, those emotions are motion drivers, right? And when we ignore that motion that the emotion is trying to drive us to do, it gets stuck in our body and it causes a lot of resistance, and we get really frustrated and stressed out. And we will never feel stress if we are doing something that our soul is like 100% aligned to. We just won't. It's just how it is. So if you're feeling stressed, obviously there are things there, there's motion there to be taken, new choices. So pay attention to that, and when it's coming up, and look at what other choices are available to you. If you are finding that you need an influx of cash, right? It's not get a new job that pays more or get a part-time job. You know, there's a billion different small things that you can do to bring in some extra cash flow. Maybe you have money that's supposed to come back to you from, say, an insurance payout, or you're waiting for your homestead exemptions to come through. So it's following up on those things. It's looking around the house and gathering anything that you don't need anymore and listing it for sale. Maybe you have a habit or a talent or a hobby that you can outsource in order to bring in some extra income. There's lots of different options, and that's my point, right? It's not just one way or another way. We have so many options available to us, but we just don't have that awareness because we're so stuck on autopilot that we don't even notice those tiny little choices that make up our day. So we've got to bring awareness to that, because what happens is oftentimes we have defaults where we are giving our power to other people and allowing them to choose for us and to dictate what direction we go. But that is not going to serve us going forward. So if you have not already heard, and everybody has been talking about it, so I'm sure if you've been in the spiritual circles for a while, you've heard. The earth, I'm not going to use the classical terms of ascending to 5D or the new earth, but here's what I will say. Our paradigms are shifting. The frequency, the default baseline frequency, like the Schumann resonance, right, is shifting, and it's going up higher. And it's trying to bring us out of that dense two-dimensional box thinking. And as we continue to move forward, it's just going to get harder and harder and harder to sustain things that are not aligned to who you are. So it's very important that you are really being proactive and working through things as they show up, and you're looking at each challenge and each friction point as an opportunity to grow and to expand your own perspective, your own experience, your own wisdom, right? And really step into that alignment. So the big themes karmically, right? I was talking about the ignorance of the 7th chakra, the crown chakra, but it's also the belief, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So this is where we're tolerating things because it has not gotten bad enough for us to do anything about. And we're being asked this week to step up and make the shifts and start to apply those changes instead of letting it get to the point where we've been full body slammed by the universe. So we're like, okay, I'm tapping out. This isn't for me. That being said, detachment and curiosity can benefit you greatly when you are looking for other choices. When we are able to remove our emotions and our own self from the experience, it makes it a lot easier to kind of step back and see it from a third person's perspective, where you can really kind of observe yourself and those tiny little choices and see all of the different options that you couldn't necessarily see when you had those blinders on. It's like whenever you get tunnel vision and you're so hyper focused and you really think that this is the only way to do it, or this is the only way that you want to do it, right? And that can end up leading us into more misalignment. So really paying attention to our choices this week is going to be very important as we move forward. Make sure you're looking for the middle ground and you're not doing the seesaw back and forth between one extreme and another. We have to break our habits of dualistic thinking. Again, that two-dimensional box, right? Otherwise, it's going to cause a lot of friction going forward. So if you are not being proactive and moving through this, it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder to maintain those misaligned choices. It's going to get to the point where you are being body slammed consistently by the universe in any way, shape, or form, that you are consistently being misaligned to how you and your soul is designed, your soul's personality, right? Not your conditioned earth personality, but your soul's personality. If you aren't sure of who that is or what that is, look to your emotions. Your emotions are always guiding you. It is energy from your soul that is telling you that is not what I want. That is not for me. But we have been oppressed for so long and conditioned to just kind of do what's best for society versus what's best for us, and haven't really had a lot of choices at our disposal in a way that we could make them and still be safe. But in modern day and age, we have tons and tons of choices available to us now. So it's really about being true to who you are and getting to explore what that looks like. What choices feel good and feel aligned, and trying out these new experiences. That is really the biggest opportunity that we have these days. And it's not one that we want to just, ignore and waste away. So pay attention to what's coming up this week, and I will be dropping daily videos to help guide you through. So make sure that you like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.